Ghana, new anti-LGBTQ law draws condemnation. So this bill has been in the Ghanaian parliament for a while. They have been debating on how to implement or how to pass the bill into law. And I think the bill has finally passed. So it's left for their president, Nana Akufo-Addo, to sign it into law. So let's wait and see what he is going to do. But before that, let's just continue with the article to try to see what it says. Since the bill entitled Promotion of Proper Human Sexual Rights and Ghanaian Family Values was passed in Ghana, it has stirred controversies. The bill broadens the scope of criminal sanctions against lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, transsexual, and queer people simply for being who they are and threatens criminal penalties against perceived allies of LGBTQ plus people, said UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Volker Turk. In the streets of Accra, some Ghanaians think the bill goes too far. I think it's a bit harsh to sentence someone because of his own decision. I think the whole thing about the bill needs to change. People needs to change people so that they can take good decisions for themselves, an entrepreneur said. The bill, which was voted on Wednesday, was first introduced 3 years ago. It is an absolute non-necessary. There is no reason why we need a bill that criminalizes people who are queer in this country. Chairperson for Center for Democratic Development, Ghana, said. The bill, among other things, criminalizes public display of affection between people holding out as LGBTQ and disbands existing LGBTQ groups. I think that it is our duty as civil society organizations to go to court and test the provision of this bill against our constitution because it is our contention that the constitution is the supreme law of the land and any bill from parliament has to confront to the constitution, and we don't think that the bill does, Professor Adio Gazakpo added. Those convicted could face up to a decade in prison. According to local media outlets, the CDD and the Human Rights Coalition have petitioned the Supreme Court. The UN has urged for the bill not to become law. It is now on President Nana Akufo-Addo's desk. President Nana Akufo-Addo not to sign the bill into law. Well, that might be a very difficult task for Nana Akufo-Addo, and I don't know if he has the majority members in parliament or if he is in support of the bill or not. I don't know, but he has always voiced his concern about same-sex activities in Ghana and how he supports traditional values, he supports family values, and so on and so forth. I just find something so strange about all these things in Africa. But let me just go one step back before I move forward. There is always reaction for every action. And I understand that most countries in Africa are reacting to what they might have perceived as a threat to family values and their family morals and so on and so forth. I understand that. And according to them, the gays are going to take everything. The gays are going to poison their society. The LGBTQ people are going to swoop in and just sweep in and then destroy family values, destroy everything. But let me ask this question. Has any of them really given this some thought? I mean, not the politicians, because I know the politicians have their own motive for playing this card. I do not believe for a second that any single Ghanaian politician actually believe what they are saying. They are using it just to play the game. It's just a game to them. They are trying to rally support. They are trying to deflect the minds and thought of the people in Ghana. They have been a failure and a way to distract public opinion and public attention from them, the politicians who have failed in their duties and obligations, is to bring something like this, something that has no benefit to the people in Ghana. I have always asked this question, and let me ask it one more time. Whether or not President Nana Akufo-Addo signed this bill into law, whether or not all LGBTQ groups and their affiliations are disbanded, whether or not every single LGBTQ person or any single person who identifies as being a member of the LGBTQ plus community is being arrested and sentenced to life imprisonment, or even have their head chopped off. Whether or not all this happen, how will that benefit Ghanaians as a whole? How would that provide them with what they need the most, which is food and shelter? How would that provide what Ghanaians have been looking for, are hungry for, which is good quality jobs, which is fair treatment from their government officials, which is reducing corruption? Ghana has a lot of problem as it is. So how will this solve the problem? How will hating one another solve the problem? How will this divide in the society solve the problem? My brothers and sisters in Africa, I am not saying that you do not have a right to your own beliefs. I'm not saying that you do not have a right not to dislike same-sex people or LGBTQ people. That's not what I'm saying. You have the right to stay away from people you don't like. You have the right to criticize people whom you think are doing things that do not go in line with your beliefs and values. You have the right to do all that. But do you think that sending them to prison will solve any problem? Do you honestly think that? I'm asking you, my brothers and sisters in Africa, do you really believe that just imprisoning every single person who is perceived or who is known or who is called or who decided to identify as LGBTQ will solve the problem that Ghana is facing? Will that solve the problem? Answer me. And ask yourself this question. If our lawmakers put in half of the effort they have put in persecuting LGBTQ people, into arresting or holding embezzlers to account, holding government officials who misuse their positions, holding government ministers who misappropriate funds, who misuse funds, who divert funds, who stole government properties and resources. If they divert just half of the effort they put in persecuting same-sex people into holding those people to account, how great would Ghana be? Can anyone imagine? Can anyone just dream for a second? The lawmakers empower the police to go after embezzlers, to go after people who are misusing their office, to try to set the record straight, to try to get as much stolen worth from those who have stolen those worth. How better would all of us, our lives be? How would that impact our lives in a more positive way? Has any of you thought about that? Maybe you should. Maybe you should. Maybe you should. So, to you guys, my brothers and sisters from Africa and in Africa, share your thoughts and opinion with us. Among the stories we cover on the show today, which of these really resonated with you? We would like to know what you think. Please leave us your thought and opinion in the comment section below, because like always, we love hearing what you have to say. And also, don't forget to like this video, share this video, follow our Facebook page, and subscribe to this channel, because that helps us a lot and we shall ever be grateful to you. So thank you very much for doing just that. And like always, see you in the next one.